Gematria for beginners, the art and science behind Jewish numerology. We all know that language and therefore words carry power. We just see that from the fact that it's the key to communication, the communication of our feelings to one another, whether it's from the earliest our childhood, formative years, communication of love, also unfortunately the communication of anger. So words carry power. They carry our expression, they carry our intentions, they carry our personality, our passion, our emotions, and so on. And words are made up of letters. And very often, though we use this tool at our disposal all the time, it's called communicating, speaking, crying, singing, all the different forms of expression of words, whether it's through speaking or also through writing, which is also words. We don't often pay attention to the exact science and art that lies behind these words. So in truth is the discussion of numerology, or the Hebrew word Gematria, which comes from a Greek Gematria, which is geometry. Essentially it's the study of numbers, but Gematria particularly refers to the power and the energy that lies in the numbers that correspond to each letter, which I shall soon explain. But I think it's important to first discuss what letters and words are in general. Because I said, though we use words all the time, as I'm doing right now, and we use them hopefully for good purposes, but we also sometimes use them for unhealthy purposes, destructive ones. We have to realize that words are energy. Words are energy. As a matter of fact, the word for words in Hebrew, which is a milah, is made up of oisius. Words are made up of letters. Every word is made up of letters. And the word ois in Hebrew comes from the word asa boiker. And the morning has arrived, has risen, the dawn has risen. The morning has arrived. So ois refers to an arrival, what we call a transmission. It's a transmission of energy. So though a letter on its own is hollow, you just have an A, a B, a C, a D, but if you combine the letters, let's say you combine the letter G-O-O-D, it takes on a whole different meaning more than the sum of the parts, because each of the letters has its particular energy, and combining them creates a new energy, a new synergy, you can say, which conveys the feelings that are conveyed when you say the word good. Now, it's important also to point out that I'm going to be speaking primarily about Hebrew language, because that's where Gematria really plays a tremendous role. And one of the reasons for that is because, according to Jewish mysticism, the Hebrew language is actually the original of all languages. And there are actually books that describe how all languages evolved and originated from its original Hebrew. That's why you have Aleph, Bet, A, B, and you have the equivalent in not only in Latin languages, also in other languages, that it all originates from Hebrew. And Hebrew is considered to be the pure language, the language of metaphor, the language that the divine used to create existence. And thus the language, the letters and the words take on a whole different dimension, because what they are doing is actually conveying the power that lies, the power of creation, the power of the force of creation that lies within each thing that's named by a certain word or combination of words. Which is why we say, for example, when we ask for a refuah shlema, for a blessing for health for someone who's been ill, we look for their name and their Hebrew name and their mother's Hebrew name. Why Hebrew name? Because the Hebrew name is seen as the name that channels the soul's power into our beings. And therefore that Hebrew name carries a particular power. Now we're not going to just be talking about names here and about letters, but I need to begin with that because that's an introduction to understand the significance of the Gematria within those letters. So to sum up, let's put it this way. Think of letters, think of it this way. We'll use an analogy. You have a film projector that's projecting just plain white light on a screen. So you see nothing, all you see is white light. Now imagine you take a film which has carved out images. In this case, let's say carved out letters, not carved out, a film with letters in it, and then you put that in front of the projector, what will happen? The letters will now be projected letters of light. So if you have carved out letters, as I said, G-O-O-D, or we'll use a Hebrew word, Baruch, which is a very classic word which means to bless, Beis, Reish, Vav, Chaf, it's 4 Hebrew letters. So you'll see those letters of light are projected onto the screen. Now what's actually happened here? What's happened here is that the white light is just plain seamless and shapeless energy, without shape and form. And the film, or if they're cut out letters like we used to use in school and so on, then the film And those cutout letters will so-called channel the energy, the white light, onto the screen, and therefore you'll have now letters of light. This is how we see names and we see words in general. They're essentially channeling energy. As I said at the outset, when someone speaks to you, and I'm trying to stay away from superficial talk and gossip and nonsense. Let's talk about something significant. Someone shares with you important words. The words "I love you," or the words "I care about you," or other words that we use to communicate with our hearts and with our minds to others. So those words are particular sentiments.